Ladies and gentlemen, what's up and what's going on, traders, and happy Money Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning in pre-market. Team, the market's actually been on fire. KZR's moving around. You got BRDS ripping on up. You got EVFM ripping on up as well. My goodness. What an amazing morning in pre-market. So far, so good, and what an amazing start to this Money Tuesday. So again, good morning, traders. Everybody inside of chats, hit me with a big old good morning. Everybody on YouTube, hit me with a big old good morning as well. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Are we having a good morning? Are we fired up, ready to rock? Because you guys know I'm always fired up, ready to rock with each and every one of you, ready to attack this day, ready to identify those opportunities, and looking to lock in some profits. And hopefully today is the day I can test out my new broker. So we shall see if I can get those credentials and I can get all this figured out. I will be testing Centerpoint Securities today and moving forward with my new broker. So I'm really excited for that. All right, team. So again, happy Money Tuesday. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful evening. I hope you guys are having an even better morning and you guys are just ready to attack this day and ready to rock and crush it for the final 3 trading days of June. That's right. We have 3 days to go. Today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So I want you guys making this the best 3 trading days of the month, the best 3 trading days of the year. Again, team, I'm here to help you. If there's anything that I can do, please let me know. All right? Speak up. Take that initiative. Say, hey, Josh, I need your help. And I'm more than happy to help you guys out to figure out what's going on so you can find success. That's what I'm here for. And I want you guys to take advantage of that. All right? So please, if there's anything I can do, let me know. I would love to help you right now to get you guys in the right mindset, to get you guys prepared to identify what that problem could be and find a solution to the problem. So when we start July, you're not behind. You're not, 5 steps behind. You're right there with us, ready to attack it, ready to make it happen, and ready to crush it the final 6 months of the year, team. All right? Because I want to crush it the final 6 months. I want you guys crushing it the final 6 months. Let's get you to where you need to be to make that happen. So for the next 3 days, use me, abuse me, take advantage of the time that we have together. I want to help you guys to make sure that we're ending this year on a strong and profitable note and helping you guys hit those goals. All right. So without further ado, let's dive into it. We have a lot to discuss today, and there is a lot of stuff moving, and there is so much opportunity in the market. So diving into our morning stock newsletter. Good morning, team, and happy Money Tuesday. It is Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. My goodness, that's crazy, guys. We're already 6 months through the year. That's absolutely insane. I tell you what, it feels like yesterday that it was the start of the year. It was the start of 2022, and we're already 6 months in, which is crazy. So welcome back to the best trading community in the world. You guys know why it's the best, because you make it the best. So I hope you all had an amazing night and that you're ready to hit it hard today. We have 3 days left of the month, team. I want to see each and every one of you locking in those consistent profits once again today like we did yesterday and making this the best week ever. Let's end the month strong. Let's end the month strong. So stock index futures are currently up as the market attempts to rebound from its lows. So get fired up, team, because we are hitting it hard today. We are not holding back. We are not letting off that gas pedal. We are making it happen. So, team, when I said that there's a lot to talk about, there is so much to talk about today, and I don't think we have enough time to dissect everything. So here is a link to the morning stock newsletter, okay? There are so many stocks with news. You got Airbnb out with a press release. You have Nike with earnings, Occidental Petroleum, OXY. You got Berkshire Hathaway increasing their stake in the company. XCLA with some good news. KZR, EVFM. There's a lot to discuss here, and we don't have time to discuss it all. So my job is to do the legwork for you, to do the hard work for you, to eliminate that noise, to get prepared. Where's the best opportunity? And I've already done that for you guys. If you want to check out these stocks and these press releases, I went ahead and dropped that link to the morning stock newsletter there inside of chat. And I went ahead and dropped that link over on YouTube as well. All right. So again, dive into the morning stock newsletter. Check out every single stock with news. But this is what I did. The one that is in green, right? These press releases in green are the ones that I like the most, right? These are the ones I'm looking at. These are the best press releases, and these are the stocks that I think have some great potential. And down here, we have my top stocks of the day. So why do I like EVFM and their press release? Well, not only is EVFM moving again, right? It was moving yesterday on contraceptive news. It's moving again today because they reached an agreement with one of the largest pharmacy benefit managers in the US for access to Phexxi, right? Phexxi, Phexxi. Now, what's Phexxi? Right, I looked this up this morning to get an idea of what this is on EVFM. Access to Phexxi, I think it's a non-hormonal birth control is what it said. It's a hormone-free birth control prescription that is FDA approved to prevent pregnancy. So why are we seeing the stock up anyway yesterday? Well, it was the Roe versus Wade overruling. A lot of these contraceptive stocks moving on up. Now they're dropping another press release that they've reached an agreement with one of the largest pharmacy benefit managers in the US for access to hormone-free birth control prescriptions that are FDA approved to prevent pregnancy. So that's why we have EVFN moving on up. I definitely want to keep that stock on watch. Number 2, we have KZR. All right, so what's going on with KZR? So the company's trading higher after the company announced top-line results. Okay, this is the key word here in this press release. Announcing top-line results from its phase 2 clinical trial evaluating zetamonzifobia in patients with active lupus nephritis. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea how to say that word, let alone what that means. So I looked it up, and it's in regards to kidney issues, right? So that's their vaccine. That's what they've been working on during their phase 2 clinical trial. And they come out and they announced top-line results, positive data from that trial in regards to patients that have issues with their kidneys, kidney disease, kidney failure, kidney stones, everything like that. So this was very positive, and this is a very good press release. No wonder the stock is currently up from $5.78, trading at $11 right now at this point in time. So again, I like KZR because of that press release. And then I do like TCOM and TOUR. And why do I like those two stocks? Well, China is actually loosening its COVID quarantine rules. So these travel stocks are flying. So you have TCOM that's moving on up. You have TOUR that's moving on up, as again, China is lifting a lot of these COVID quarantine rules, and that's also going to help Disney. Now, again, Disney's not here for some reason. It should be. I had it in that morning stock newsletter, but again, maybe I didn't click the update button, all right? But again, Disney is moving up a little bit. So why? Well, Shanghai Disney is going to reopen June 30th, and that has to do with them loosening or lifting those COVID quarantine rules. So out of all of these press releases, after looking at all of these charts, after really dissecting everything, these are the 3 that I came up with that I like. EVFM, AZR, TCOM, TOUR, and Disney. And again, if you want more detail, my top stocks for the day, I really break down EVFM for you guys as far as what I'm looking for. TCOM, what I'm looking for. TOUR and KZR, what I'm looking for in more detail, guys. So make sure you take the time in the mornings to dissect this morning stock newsletter. It's going to have every single stock with news, so you can go out there and do your own due diligence. That's the goal here, not to have you rely upon me to do this, but you learn how to do this. So again, take that time in the mornings, come inside this morning stock newsletter, and again, dissect it, do your own due diligence. Maybe you come up with something completely different than I have, and that's your way of trading, and that's your edge in the market. Again, come review my top stocks of the day as well. Look at our pre-market gappers, up gappers, down gappers, large cap up gappers, prior day top gainers. Again, team, sometimes we come in and these top gaining stocks do nothing, and traders resort back to what moved yesterday. So what moved yesterday? AXSM, NRSN, VEDU. Those are going to be stocks to watch today to see if they have another day of continuation towards them. So it's very important to understand what moved yesterday and then those stocks with earnings. So we know exactly what I'm looking at and why, right? EVFM, great press release. TCOM and TOUR, it's because China is lifting a lot of those COVID quarantine rules, and that applies to Disney as well. And then KZR, because they're announcing top line results from their phase 2 trial. So right there, we have great press releases, guys. We got low float stocks, good volume. Let's take a moment and dissect these just a little bit more to really get you guys prepared for the day. So let's discuss KZR at this point in time, guys. So we know why KZR is moving on up. We know why I'm watching KZR, right? It's a 51 million in float stock. It's trading 8.75 million shares. And on average, it trades 1.35 million shares. So we have high relative volume, medium float stock. I'm not too concerned about the float. It can definitely move, and it's up 91% at this point in time. So what do we have? You have support back down at $9.73 to $10, right? So between that $9.73 and $10 area is going to be support with top resistance at $11.67. Over $11.67, you are going to have resistance at $12.80 to $13, and then $13.55 to retest that post-market high. All right, so we know where support's at. It's between $9.75 and $10. Let's just make that $9.75. And then $10 psychological support. We know where resistance is right now, $11.67. So here's my plan. Above 1167, I'm long to 1281 and then 1355, right? We need a break above 1167. And if we can, I want to look to get long up to 1281 and then 1355, okay? As long as we're below 1167, I'm not touching the stock, okay? If we're between 975 and 1167, and we're just kind of ranging there, at this point in time, I have no intentions on touching the stock. I want to see it over 1167. That's when I get long to 1281, 1355. Now, I have a short plan in place as well. If we crack below support, if we're falling below $9.75 and $10, I will look to short this stock down to $8.75. It is easy to short, and that's $1 of potential to the downside on KZR. And that's going to put you right back down at that psychological penny stock level, $8.75. It's also the gap down high when we had that massive gap down. So those are the levels, and that's my plan. I'm just simply sitting back and waiting for these opportunities to present themselves. Okay, team? So again, you guys are all set, ready to rock. If you have any questions, you want me to review that once again, let me know. But again, those are the levels. You know exactly what I'm looking at, what I'm waiting for, and why this stock is on my watch list, why I'm choosing this out of everything else as one of my top stocks for the day. Again, eliminating that noise and identifying where the best opportunity is going to be for the day. Right now, I think it could definitely be KZR. Number 2, I think it could be EVFM, right? I definitely think it could be EVFM. This is a 12.4 million in float stock. It's trading 53 million shares and on average 11.75. So we have great volume. Nice low flow stock. It was one of yesterday's top gainers, right? It was a very clean, consistent mover. This stock ripped all the way up to 110. Right now hitting highs of 154. And we know why this stock is moving. We know it's a nice low float stock with great volume. It's also a prior day mover as well as having a press release today. I think EVFM has tons of potential, guys. Tons of potential. So let's really dissect this stock. It really comes down to these pre-market highs, okay? So that's really the first level that we need to see be broken in order to get long on this stock. We need to be breaking over that 150 to 154. And if we can, we have a little teeny gap to be filled here. Let's go ahead and open this up, and we can see here that we had a close at 166, and we gap down at like 149, 150. So if we can start breaking above that 149 to 150, I want to go long to 166, all right, to fill that gap. And then if it's really squeezing here, we could see it at $2. That would be my second target. If we really see it taking on off, we could see it all the way up at 225. So it really starts with that 149 to 150. If we're breaking and trading above 149 to 150, I'm long, right? Above 150 shows strength. You could probably see this grind on up to 166. Make some profit, right? Starts breaking 166, starts squeezing on up. Your next level, $2. Lock in some profits. Over $2, it's still squeezing, and you have a runner on the table. Boom, it hits 225. Lock up some profits. That's going to be one of your top targets today on EVFM. It's going to be up towards around that 225. But first things first, right? You have 166. That's a profit-taking level. You have $2, and then you have your final target at 225. But it all comes down to that 149 to 150 level to start filling that daily gap, and then we want to see it break through that 166 level, start to make that move to 2 and 225. I think that's realistic. I think we could see that on a stock like EVFM with this fantastic volume, with this low float. And again, there's a solid reason for this stock to be moving at this point in time. So I really do like it. Support right now, I'm going to put your support back down at 115. I see great support at 115, guys. Post-market high, support, 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 support. So I would say keep it on watch above this 115 level. You start to see that 149 to 150 break, you can definitely think about that plan long to 166 like I am, then 2 and then 225. If we come down to 115 and we lose it and we crack below 115, where do you guys think it's going to go? Probably going to come right back down towards around $1. All right, so $1 is your lowest level of support. 115 is a great level of support right now at this point in time, with 150 top resistance, 166 resistance, then 2 and 225. And my plan is to get long over 150 for that 166 gap fill, and then see how high this bad boy can go. Let's see if we can get the 2 and then 225. EVFM looking pretty good. All right, another stock that I wanted to discuss, right, that was on that morning stock newsletter was TOUR. China lifting a lot of its COVID quarantine rules. That's going to apply to TOUR, TCOM, and Disney. So as we talk about these three stocks, understand that they have the same reason to be on watch. China is lifting its COVID quarantine rules. So some of these travel stocks are moving, and then Disney is moving as well. It's because their Shanghai park will be reopening here very, very soon. So these stocks could definitely see some hype today. And we're already seeing some hype with these stocks here in pre-market. So TOUR has great potential. Look at that volume, trading fantastic volume compared to the average. The only thing I'm not crazy about is the float, right? For me, I'm not crazy about it because of the float, but this is for you guys inside of chat that like these sub-dollar stocks, that like these large floats, that are slow and steady movers, right? I'm looking at KZR and EVFM. Those are my top two stocks. But this could be one of your top stocks, TOUR. It's a larger float stock. It has great volume. It has a really good reason to be moving, and it seems to be pretty consistent here in pre-market. I'm personally not crazy about it. I'm not going to be looking to trade it because it has a large float. And I just don't like large float stocks. But if you do like those large float, slow and steady movers, boom, you have TOUR with great potential up to that 200-day moving average, pretty much $1. So if you're like, Josh, where's it going? It's going to $1 most likely. If we see this continue to rip and run, you have potential to $1. Support right now at this point in time, team, I would say you have like trend line support. You got a decent little trend line here on TOUR. So I would watch this around the trend line. If it were me, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be watching it right around this trend line, see if we hold on up here on TOUR. So trend line support, but if we do start cracking below that trend line support, that's when you're probably going to see it come back down towards around that 68-cent level and then down towards around 65 cents. We can see these lows here at 65 cents here in pre-market, and then we see this double bottom, these lows right around 60, let's call it 69 cents. So I would give yourself about a 4-cent window between 65 and 69 cents if the trend line cracks. But if this trend line holds on up, guys, it's in an uptrend, it's holding higher lows, this thing could open on up and get up towards around that dollar area just like that. So again, TOUR. China is lifting its COVID quarantine rules, and this is a stock that's getting some hype based on that article, based on that news. TOUR, fantastic volume, has great potential, larger float for those smaller accounts that you like, those slow, steady movers, those trades that you can manage for an hour, 2 hours, not those quick, volatile runners. Okay, so you guys have TOUR on watch. And then you have AXSM. I am looking at AXSM as a back burner. And the reason I'm watching AXSM as a back burner is because it was one of our most consistent stocks yesterday. A lot of stocks in the market were pretty rough. I mean, quick moves and then fail. Quick moves and then nothing setting up everything failing. It kind of seemed choppy again. It kind of seemed like a challenging day yesterday with small caps, but AXSM was the most consistent small cap of the day. This stock was the one stock that really did well. And so I want to see if this stock has potential to move again today, just being a prior day mover. So if we ever see this thing breaking over yesterday's highs of 38.70, we could see that next leg and that next wave of volume move in, getting the stock up towards around 44 bucks. So there's a lot of potential here with AXSM. However, if we do pop on up to that 38.75 today, and we see any kind of reversal formation, any kind of, market structure as far as resistance at that 38.75, and it looks like it's going to start dumping and rolling on over and fading, it's an easy to borrow stock. I can short this stock, and I think I would look for a short back down towards around yesterday's lows of 32.73. So again, long and short plans in place. Breaking over yesterday's highs, I want to get long up towards around 44 bucks. I think it has potential to get up towards around 44 bucks. But if we can't break and start to rip and really start to move over that 38.75, I would consider a short back down towards around yesterday's lows. Now, those are my big targets, right? Those are my main final targets. Yes, I'll lock in profits along the way. If I'm long, 40, 41, 42, 43, right? Psychological levels. If I'm short, 37, 36, 35, looking at some of yesterday's highs and lows during this consolidation. So obviously, I will be looking to lock in profits along the way, either long or short, but those are my main targets, right? My main target to the short side would be 32.73, my final target. And my final target to the long side would be the high 43s, right around 44. And it really comes down to what are we going to do at that 38.75? And I think the stock could have another decent little day ahead of it because it was one of the most consistent stocks yesterday. So right now, AXSM is a back burner for me. TOUR is a back burner right now as well. But the top two stocks that I'm personally going to be watching right out of the gate is EVFM and KZR. I think these stocks have really good potential. And BRDS, right? I need to do more research on BRDS, guys. I don't see any reason for the stock to be moving. There was no news. They received notice of non-compliance here on the 24th, but I don't know why the stock just got some random volume. This thing makes me believe it's like a pre-market pump followed by like an intraday dump. I don't see any reason for the stock to be moving. So if you see a reason for the stock to be moving, if you see a catalyst, if you see a tweet from, say, Zach Morris, right? Whatever the case is, definitely throw that up inside a chat. But I did not see anything on BRDS. And when I don't see a reason for a stock to be moving, I'm really hesitant. I'm like, I'm not really crazy about trading it right out of the gate. Maybe 30 minutes in, if it really sets on up, if it's consistent. But I mean, right out of the gate, with no credibility behind it, count me out. I want to look at the stocks that have a reason to be moving. Right? KZR has a reason to be moving. EVFM has a reason to be moving. When I look at BRDS, it does not have a reason to be moving. Okay? So play that safe. Let's sit back and wait and see if it's consistent. But really quickly, guys, I got some levels for you. Disney, right? Disney, you got a lot of resistance between 99.40 and 100. It really depends on the broader market and the overall market, guys. So if the SPY is breaking resistance at 391.17, we know the SPY has room to 392 and then 395. So if the SPY is breaking resistance and we're going long on the SPY, we are not looking to short Disney. If the Qs come up and break 295 and start ripping to 297, we are not looking to short Disney. I like the short on Disney. But if the SPY is breaking to the upside and the Qs are breaking to the upside, we are not shorting Disney. Now, if the SPY cannot break 391.17 and we see it looking like it's going to fall back down the 387.40 support, I would look to short Disney. If the Qs cannot break 295 and it looks weak and it looks like it's going to start rolling on over and fading back down to that level of support, 291.45, we will look for a short on Disney. So it really depends on what the SPY and the Qs are doing. So if we see the SPY and the Qs hitting resistance, not able to get above, and they start selling on off, okay? And Disney's between this $99.40 and $100 area of resistance. We will look to short this. I mean, I will look to short this between $99.60 and $100. Very strong resistance. And I think we could see it back down to 98 and then 97.30, right? So my final target would be like 97.30, but I would look to lock in some profits in the low 28s on the Disney short. So again, there's probably 2 to 3 points that we could catch on the downside with Disney. And it really comes down to, what are we doing at this $100 level on Disney, $100 resistance, and then really, what's the SPY and the Qs doing? All right, so the SPY right now, support at 387.40, resistance at 391.17. Okay, if we break resistance and we're going long on the SPY, you have room up to 392.94. That's yesterday's pre-market high, and then 395.50. But if we can't break above resistance on the SPY, you're going to probably see it just fade and fall back down to 387.40 today. You're stuck in a little bit of a range and a little bit of this channel. Bottom channel support, 387.40. Top channel resistance, 391.17. As long as you're in this channel, trade the channel. Okay, if you break above, go long. If you crack below, go short. But we're probably just going to sit in this channel today, and I see potential back down to 387.40. Same thing with the Qs, inside a little bit of this channel. Top channel resistance, 295. Bottom channel support, 291.45. So again, it really just comes down to, what are we going to do at these levels of support resistance? If we come up to top channel resistance and we top on out and we're looking weak, let's look to short it back down for an all-day fade, or maybe to that 291.45. We come down to 291.45 and we bottom out and we're looking like we're going to rip. Let's play calls up to 295. As we're inside this channel, in between these ranges, we're just going to trade the ranges. If we're looking to really go long for a trending move, we need to wait for a break of top channel resistance up to 297.80 on the Qs, or look for the Qs to crack below 291.45 before we really get short for that pullback into the 290s. Okay, so I'm going to wait probably 15 minutes on the SPY and the Qs, really see where they're going. We know what's going on with Disney here, guys, and it really depends on what we do around this $100 level on Disney, and it really depends on what we do with the SPY and the Qs as well. But to start our day, I'm watching KZR right out of the gates. I'm watching EVM team right out of the gate. I do believe these are the best two stocks. I believe these are the top two stocks for today at this point in time. So these two stocks have my focus. These two stocks are the ones that I'm watching. Give me 1 second. It looks like my P&L is a little jacked up, but we are live. We're all set, ready to rock. And right now, out of the gate, sitting back on my hands, being patient, waiting for that opportunity to come to me. But I'm watching EVFM. I'm watching KZR as my top two stocks right now at this point in time. AGRX is a back burner for me. BRDS is a back burner. TOUR and AXSM are back burners right now at this point in time. But EVFM has my focus right now over 150 to 166. KZR has my attention. We're breaking that 1167. I'm looking to go long to 1281, 13, and then 1355. Right, we know exactly what I'm doing with the SPY and the Qs. It really depends on what we do at these levels of resistance to dictate what's our trade today on the SPY and the Qs. And how is that going to help us with a possible Disney trade as well, guys? All right, so we are all set, ready to rock. If you have any questions, please let me know. But we are ready to go, and let me adjust the stream so my P&L is not all weird looking. Gotta go ahead and change that over. Boom. Is that it? Perfect. Perfect. So there's my P&L, and I have 0 trades on the day. I'm still trying to figure out how to get logged into my Centerpoint account. I'm having some issues, but I would love to test them out and start trading with them today. So I'm super excited for that, guys. So AGRX, let's go ahead and shift our focus to AGRX, guys. Okay, AGRX, just because it's squeezing right here out of the gate. So let's do that. AGRX right here out of the gate. And why is this stock moving? It's moving for the same reason that EVFM is moving, right? So why is EVFM moving? Why is AGRX moving? 3 health stocks that are soaring following the Roe versus Wade ruling. So that's why these stocks are moving, and that's why these stocks have most of my focus. And that's why I chose EVFM, because I believe EVFM has the best potential behind it, guys. But I still do like AGRX as well, but I'm watching EVFM. I think if we start breaking that 149 to 150, we could really start squeezing the 166, guys, and then $2. But we need to wait for the stock to finally and officially get above that 150 to 154. So let's go EVFM back burner chart off to the side, because we are dropping off pretty hard right here. We have room down the 115. But let's just focus here on AGRX for now. Okay, watch that high of the day momentum scanner. Watch our breakout scanner. Look to see where the volume's going. Look to see where traders are going. But I believe it's going to be with one of those 3 stocks. EVFM, KZR, or AGRX. I think it's one of those 3 stocks that really steal the activity today, that really steal the volume, and that's where the best potential is. Did the SPY just rip through that 391 with ease? Okay, that's fantastic. No, that's really good, because we can play it long, guys. We can play it long. Get a quick pullback to 391. Like the first pullback could be a trade. You just broke through 391.17. You know what the SPY does when you just rip out of the gate, right? What happens when the SPY just whoop, straight through resistance out of the gate? It gives you a little bit of a pullback, and then it rips again. So we just broke resistance, right? You have room to 395.50, and we know what to expect with the SPY. We've seen this time and time and time again. So when it breaks just like right out of the gate, it typically trends. And that's when we have those 5 to 10 point days like we saw on Friday. The Qs have yet to break its resistance level. Okay, so the Qs have yet to break its resistance level. But if the Qs can break 295.06, here's where I see the Qs going. I see the Qs going to 296.50 and then 297.70. That's where I see the Qs going. But first things first, we need to be breaking 295. The SPY, let's see if we can pull back a little bit first. Right? Let's see if we can pull back here into this 391 level for a nice little pullback entry here before we get that next leg up possibly on the SPY. So can we pull back a little bit? That'd be great, because a good entry would be back down at 391.17. So let's see. One sec, guys. Give me 1 second. I do appreciate it. I'm not forgetting. We're definitely here. We're going to make it happen. But give me 1 moment. I have an email from my broker. I just want to respond to that real quick so we can be all set, ready to rock, okay? But again, you guys know what our plan is on the SPY. You know what the plan is on the Qs. If you have any questions, let me know. I want to make sure you guys are fully up to speed and we know what's going on. But right now, no trades for me out of the gate. Still watching a lot of, everything that we talked about so far. But nothing giving us any kind of confirmation, any kind of reason to get long yet. Really, let's do this. I mean, everything right now is kind of pulling back in penny stock land. Let's just go flip on over to the SPY, because we know when the SPY starts going, it goes. And I don't want to miss any opportunity here with the SPY. And I'm still watching EVFM off to the side, guys. Give me 1 moment. Right back. We're good. And before we drop this stream today over on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen on YouTube, I have a big announcement for you. A big announcement for you guys on YouTube. So stay tuned right around 9:45, 9:50, assuming there's no fresh opportunities. I got about 30 seconds. I'm going to hit you with something. I'm going to drop something for you. A big announcement, and I think you guys will be super stoked and super excited. Super excited. So I'm pretty excited myself to drop that, okay? So again, make sure you guys are here in the next 10 to 15 minutes before we end the stream, and I'll let you guys know exactly what it is and what we have going on. But we are all set. GRAY halted. Let's go GRAY. So GRAY this morning, they did have a press release on GRAY, if I'm not mistaken. I think we're trading higher. Yeah, here we go. New strategic alternatives. So Kaiser, so this is, yeah, we don't need to look at that. So that's trial data. So Graybug announcing the review of strategic alternatives. GRAY was a swing trade last year. I remember this swing trade on GRAY last year. It was that little squeeze formation. Right now, this stock is getting some nice action to the upside. Where can we see this go? I would say like 150 is realistic. But then you got to look at that upper shadow here on GRAY. So that upper shadow at 157 is going to be resistance as well. And then that 200 SMA at 185. I like halt strategy. So let's see if we have a nice little halt strategy here. We were halted at 937.05. We'll be live at 942.05. So we'll be live in 3 minutes here on GRAY. So if we gap up, I would say what? What would you guys think? Let me ask you guys this question, right? You guys know halt strategies, and you know it really depends on the price of the stock. What would you think GRAY needs to gap up to before washing out for it to be a good halt strategy? How much of a gap up? Would you say like 20 cents, $1, a penny? How big of a gap up would you think you'd want to see on GRAY for this to be a really nice halt strategy? And I am looking at GRAY for that possible halt strategy coming on up. Again, for those of you that understand the halt strategy, all right, and you're educated on that, and we talk a lot about it because we see a lot of halts. How much would you want to see this stock gap up for it to be a good gap up, for it to be something you still consider to pull the trigger on for the halt strategy? What are you guys thinking? Make sure you're set to live on the stream as well, right? So make sure that your live is in red and that you guys are all set. So we are looking at GRAY. Again, you're looking at 942.05. 942.05. You have 40 seconds to go here. 40 seconds to go. We're looking for the halt strategy. So again, I would say I'd like to see this up about 140, 141, right? 5 to 10 cents. So yeah, on a stock of this price, I would say a good gap up would be, 5 to 10 cents. So that's going to put you right around like what? 139 to 144. I think that's a great little gap up on a stock of this price. So let's get ready to go here. GRAY. Again, looking to see this thing open right around like maybe 140 to pull the trigger, and we gap down. Reverse halt strategy, though. It'd be a nice reverse halt strategy. I'm going to try it for the reverse halt strategy here. And I'm not liking that upper shadow. I'm just going to get out of that. So I jumped in quick, right? I jumped in quick here underneath the halt level. And the reason I jumped in quick underneath the halt level is because when we gap down and we do squeeze for the break, sometimes it will rip and run. It's the reverse halt strategy. I want the gap up, the washout, the rip. But when we do gap down and we don't dump immediately and we start to push through the halt level, we usually instantaneously break and squeeze. So that's why I jumped in. I was in at 131, right? But when it started to break 134 and then it started coming back down below 134, I said, screw this, I'm out. I said, I'm out. But we do want to see that halt level hold on up here, right? So I would like to see that halt level hold on up at 134, but this thing is not really doing anything it should be doing around the halt level, right? So the gap down, it started to break. It hit 135, and then it came right back down. 30 seconds later, it's up at 145. That's great. It broke. Now it's coming back down through the halt level to the downside. So I'm not a fan of this price action over the past couple of minutes. I'm just not a fan of this price action here. So I'm going to sit back on GRAY and wait for the next best opportunity. I did pull the trigger for that possible halt strategy, though, and it just didn't play out the way I wanted it to. So I just jumped out. Wanted to go ahead and jump out, but GRAY still has great potential. Yo, maybe we can pull back to this like 110, 111 area. But then we're just waiting for AGRX as well. All right, so again, still watching AGRX at this point in time. AGRX has that potential to 215, and I'm still peeking at EVFM right now. I'm still looking at EVFM because if AGRX starts ripping, you would think EVFM could start ripping as well, and EVFM even has a press release to back its move up, unlike AGRX. AGRX had news yesterday. It had a reason to move yesterday, and today it's a momentum trade, right? It's a continuation day. EVFM, same thing. News yesterday, it was moving yesterday. It's definitely on watch for a momentum day today, a continuation trade. But EVFM has a press release to back it up again today. So that's why I'm leaning more towards EVFM compared to AGRX. BRDS is off the watch list. We could absolutely take BRDS off the watch list. And we're just kind of sitting back waiting, guys. That's it. We're just sitting back, being patient, and waiting for the next best opportunity. Right now, AGRX over 2. You could take it long to 215. I mean, you're buying the high-a-day break. If that's what you like and you guys like high-a-day breaks and you're okay with trading high-a-day, you do have an ascending triangle breakout formation. So you have flat resistance with these higher lows on AGRX. So you do have this slight ascending triangle forming here on AGRX. That could lead to a nice break over 197 and 2 for a nice squeeze up to 215. So there is a possible ascending triangle right here, right now on AGRX that would get you up to that 215 level of resistance. Stops would be below your VWAP. They'd put stops below VWAP, and you'd have room to 215. Again, that's if you like trading high-of-day breaks. I'm not a fan of high-day breakouts, especially in the market that we're in, because it's inconsistent. So there's your break over 197. You're over 2 as well. I would raise stops. So your initial stops, if you're getting in before the break, was below 180. I would throw stops at like 188 now, right? I would bring your stops up underneath this higher low. So, right, you came in through with this higher low, up to resistance, higher low, you broke. I would put stops under this last higher low at 188 and look to lock in some of your profits at that 215. That's really tough. 215 is a tough level. I would even lock in profits maybe right now because we know that 215 is such a strong level of resistance. It's such a strong level of resistance at 215. So maybe not be greedy in this market. Maybe just trim a little bit. Maybe take 25%. There's your 213. I mean, it's giving you an opportunity to lock in something. There's 215, 216. Lock in something here, guys. That's very strong resistance, right? Don't be greedy just because it squeezed through by a couple pennies. Lock in some profits, right? You just took it from 197 to 217, right? You brought your stops up to 188, and that was a good little trade for you guys. Good job. Good job. Heather over on YouTube got it, locked it up. Angela, thank you. Absolutely. Again, I just wanted to always clarify, guys. That's it. I just always want to clarify that I'm not taking the trade because I'm not a high-day breakout trader. But again, it's up to you and your edge and your strategy and all that good stuff. So nice little quick trade there on AGRX. Nice, George. That's exactly what I did. Chopped it up. George, AGRX, quick 177 on that break and that push to the 215. Congrats, guys. Nice little trade there. Nice quick trade. So congratulations. Not my style of trading. I'm not a high-day breakout trader in this market, but it worked for you guys. So congratulations. I'm proud of you. So Disney, it is over 100, but I'm still not convicted. I'm not going to lie. I'm not convicted. If we start cracking that trend line on Disney, I think that could be a nice little short here. If we start cracking that trend line and we start falling back below 100, maybe a little bit of a false breakout? I don't know, though. It did gap up, Stir. One thing I want to point out, it did gap up, and it opened right at the 20 EMA. I know we dipped below it a little bit, but the open was right at the 20 EMA, and that's going to be some support. So you're over 100. You're holding the trend line. You are bullish, right? You do have an uptrend. You have higher lows. You have a visual uptrend, right? You're green on the day. You're above $100. On good news, I would have to see something very clear to get short right now that we're actually trying to hold above 100. But if we see something very, very clear and there's a reason to get short, definitely, I think we could see a short back down at 98.26 would be a great level. But how's the overall market looking? It's still holding on up. The SPY's still holding on up. The Qs are still trying to hold on up. I would say if the SPY and the Qs start dumping, Disney's going to pull back. But if the SPY and the Qs continue to grind on up, I would just think long on Disney. I would stay long on Disney. If the SPY and the Qs are ripping to the upside, and as long as Disney's over 100, I would just think about a long up to 101.50 on Disney. Good job, traders. Good job locking in some quick profits there on AGRX. Congratulations. Now, if you're still holding a piece, right? If you have a runner on the table and you're wondering where should you lock in more profits on that position, $2.45, $2.45. So boom, you got a runner on the table, locking profits at 245. AGRX right now is being an absolute beast. So for those of you that took that trade at that 197, 198 break, you locked in some profits at 215. Great. Your stop loss at that time was at 188. Before the trade was executed, your stop was down here below 180. As the stock worked and it broke out, you're bringing that stop loss up to 188, okay? Now that the stock's breaking out again, getting close to another target, I would bring your stops up to $2. I would bring your stocks up to $2. Your stops, not your stocks, your stops, right? Just trailing it, right? You're trimming, right? Every time you get that big pop in that break, you're trimming. You're locking a little bit of profits in, okay? And as you're locking in profits, you're also bringing your stop loss up if the chart is telling you to bring your stop loss up. And the chart is telling us to bring that stop loss up right to like 199. So right now, look for your 215 pullback. Look for a 215 pullback here on AGRX. So nice little ascending triangle breakout. Nice pop. And then it sat here and consolidated under 215 for a moment. Got nice and tight. Nice pop. I mean, this stock is very clean. This stock is very consistent. So what I would do is I would run your trend line up here right into that 215. So you got that trend line that hits 215. And then you have that prior level of resistance as new support, 215. So right now, looking for that 215 pullback. 215 pullback on AGRX, and that's a trade for me. If we get a nice little pullback to that 215, I would absolutely look for a nice little trade down there at that 215 level for a dip buy that turns into a nice follow through to get this thing going even more. Next, guys, if we break 245 to 250, this thing has potential to $3. It would have potential to $3. All right. So again, I want to try and get a pullback entry here at 215. So that's what we got going on with AGRX. GRAY just gave everything back. KZR slowly fading. EVFM not doing much. TOUR starting to move on up here a little bit. AXSM is still on watch, but right now it's clear that 80% of traders team, 80% of the market, 80% of the traders out here are on AGRX. And that's our goal, and that's our job as traders, to identify where the majority of traders are. Where is 70 to 80% of traders? That's where we want to be, because that's where the opportunity is going to be. That's where the volume and the action is going to be. So where is 80% of the focus right now? Where are 80% of the traders? It's safe to say that 80% of traders right now are clearly on AGRX, and that's where we need to be as well. And that's where my focus remains right now at this point in time, is AGRX. I'd like to see it down at like 215. If we can just dump here, I wouldn't say dump, but if we can get a nice red candle down the 215, I would take it for a dip buy opportunity, expecting a bounce, and then maybe holding a little bit of this position for a follow through. So come down 215, dip buy opportunity, take some quick profits, 5-10 cent scalp, hold a little bit more to see if it bounces and follows through, and see if it squeezes through that 245, 250. So I'm looking for a 215 dip buy opportunity here on AGRX. If we can just dump on down here right to that 215 level, I'm looking to pull the trigger. Again, probably, double down, take it for a quick little dip buy opportunity, nice little scalp, and then hold a little bit to see if she follows through. There's 217. So again, as you can see, I didn't take that. I'm not in. I'm looking at the price action, looking at how quick it came down to 215, looking at the bids down there, and we never hit 215, and the bids weren't really strong. So I never took it, but I'm considering here in a moment to go ahead and maybe pull the trigger at this 215 off the trend line for the next leg up. But I'm being a little bit more patient here just to be sure that this is the best trade and that this is the right trade to be in. Still not in. I'm still just waiting. I mean, we see this double top up here, and that's the only thing that I guess maybe concerns me a little bit is the double top before rolling over. It's not like it was a break and a simple, healthy pullback. It actually broke, it double topped, then it came back down. So it's all about how it's coming into the trade, how the trade's developing, right? Like moving average squeezes. It's how the stock comes into the setup, right? Just like 9 EMA and VWAP squeeze formations. It's all about how the stock enters the setup. So it's entering a setup. It's a pullback entry. It's off the trend line. But how is it coming into support, into the trend line? Well, it just formed a double top, and now it's coming down with high volume. I'm just a little hesitant. Is this going to be a short-term little bounce here and then crack? And for that reason, thinking it could be a short little bounce and then crack on down, I'm actually not looking to take this long now, right? It wasn't quick enough for the dip buy. And now that it's kind of slowing down and kind of just stalling a little bit after it formed a double top, I would think it would crack, not rip. I'm not taking the trade. I'm not taking that trade. That's just me, though, and that's for that reason, right? Because it's all about that double top and how it's slowly coming to this 215. Do I think it could bounce on up a little bit? Sure. But after that double top, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that 215 crack on down the $2. So I'm going to hold off right now here on AGRX. And this is still the number one stock. KZR isn't doing a lot. EVFM is fading. TOUR has room to $1. So if you can break over pre-market highs on TOUR, you do have room to $1. But again, I'm not in on AGRX based on those reasons. I hope that makes sense. But I see a couple things that stand out to me that make me not want to dive on in to it. I'm going to hold off right now on this one, guys. I'm going to see if it can come down to 2. I'd like a dip buy at 2. I'd like to see it crack 215, dump on down $2. That would be nice.